welcome back to another episode of the College Buzz and happy Thanksgiving week. What are you grateful for this week? What are you grateful for, period? Think about that this week. But, in the attitude of gratitude, I'm also excited for the menu items of Thanksgiving. That ham, I prefer ham over turkey. I don't know about you guys, but ham, mac and cheese, potato salad. I don't know what else you may have at your dinner table, but I know that sweet potato pie, apple pie better be on mine. I know that you can't wait because, sometimes the cafeteria food doesn't do what it needs to do. So I know you're ready to get back to that home cooked meals and to be surrounded with family and friends. So I'm excited for all of that. Listen, of course, with Thanksgiving, you have about a few days or a week, just to rest and recuperate. But you also want to ensure that you're making the most of your time. Now, I'm not saying that you're going to just be studying the whole time, but no, how can you make the most of Thanksgiving break, not rate, but Thanksgiving break to ensure that you're ready to tackle and get the best possible grades for the upcoming final exams. Dun dun dun. Because right after Thanksgiving is final exams will be maybe a week or a couple days, later. So you definitely want to make sure that you're prepared. So how to tackle or how to use Thanksgiving break to prep for examination. And the first point that we have for you is to make a simple week plan. It reduces stress and improves productivity. So you definitely want to write down the task, which can offload mental pressure, hopefully for you, and allowing your brain to focus better. So what you want to do is list every assignment due in the next 2 to 3 weeks. Note each exam date. I know that we have finals, of course, but you may have an exam before the finals. So all of those different exam dates, if you know your final exams, also plug them in as well, and identify 1 or 2 priorities for each day of break. Students who spend even 10 minutes planning report higher completion rates and lower stress. So you don't want to, be stressed out because of all of the things that you have to do when you get back to school. But if you plan now and prepare and strategize, you can help to reduce that load. So make a simple week plan. It helps to reduce stress and increases productivity. And we want to be productive, right? That's what it's all about. You also want to follow the 2-hour rule for efficient studying. What does that look like? Learning science shows that students retain more when studying in short daily blocks rather than one long push. So you don't have to be at your desk studying for a marathon 7, 8 hours, 6 hours straight. No, aim for 1 to 2 focused hours per day. Now, focus means that there's no distractions. You don't have your phone around, who texting or who doing this, trying to take videos and all these time doing TikToks or whatever the case may be. No, 1 to 2 hours of focused study during your break, getting that deep work, and you would realize that, wow, look how much you accomplished in those 1 to 2 hours because you rid yourself from those distractions. And you can split it into 2 45 to 60 minute sessions, taking short breaks to reset attention span. Of course, this method boosts comprehension and prevents burnout when finals arise. So you definitely don't want to, exhaust yourself by doing, marathon studying. No, follow the 2-hour rule. 1 to 2 focus hours per day during break can really help. And you can also do that when it's time to complete assignments. So 2-hour rule. Don't cram yourself. Give yourself time to reset your attention span and so that you can retain more information. Of course, we have number 3, finish or start high value assignments early. Yes, the earlier the better. Procrastination research shows that heavy tasks like papers, those projects and those lab reports create the most stress when left until the final week. So you want to identify what's due first after break. Get those things done. Even those small little assignments, those reading assignments where you may have to write a summary and what's not. Try to get all of those things done during Thanksgiving break so that when, you are nearing finals, you able to have more time to focus on those papers or projects, and of course you still want to get started on those as well. So you want to even complete research or outlines. You may have end of year paper. You want to start preparing, at least getting one page done, the introduction done. You want to get literature reviews done. You want to get the method section, whatever the case is, starting somewhere, getting something done to help you complete that by the end of the semester or whatever the due date is. Knock out sections of projects while you have uninterrupted time. Of course, getting major work done now or started now, so don't stress yourself if you're not able to complete it, but at least you started. You got something done, which pushes you again to complete that assignment. So starting something now reduces deadline pressure and improves quality because you're not cramming and you're not rushing, and then you're not giving the work the attention that it needs and the excellence, because we just don't want to be average. We want to be above average and exceed expectations. So you definitely want to ensure that you finish or start high value assignments early. Okay, what is point number 4? You want to review class material in small spaced sessions. What does that mean? Distributed practice, one of the most proven learning techniques, involves reviewing material multiple times with breaks in between. So spend 20 to 30 minutes reviewing notes for each class. Make quick study guides or flashcards. Whatever method, because I've talked about it. So if you don't know how to study, go back into my previous episodes, find that one on study tips, and learn some study strategies to know what works for you, especially as exam approaches. Focus on concepts that have shown up repeatedly in lectures or quizzes. And this approach strengthens long-term memory, crucial for cumulative, not cumulative. Listen, y'all, sometimes you need a refresher on saying some words. Cumulative. All right, yes, I did graduate. But cumulative finals. So, those finals where you're getting all of the different subjects from the beginning of the semester, the middle, and narrowing down to the end, all of them come together and you have to study for that comprehensive exam. You want to ensure that you're preparing from now, because a week before a cumulative exam, listen, you're not, it's your best bet to start now is all I'm going to say and advise you to do. So review class material in small spaced sessions. Allow yourself again 20 to 30 minutes reviewing notes for each class. Point number 5, which is to limit digital distractions during study blocks. I talked about that as well. Research finds that multitasking or checking phones can cut productivity by 40%. Listen, 40% is a good chunk, and you do not want to cut out that productivity time, because that is taking away from your success. That is taking away from your A. That is taking away from you being able to walk across the stage. So when it's time to study, when it's time to, like we say, lock in, you want to make sure that you silence that phone, put it on do not disturb, put your phone in another room. Whatever it takes, you need to make sure that you are not being distracted. You can use focus apps as needed as well. Even short, undistracted sessions are more effective than long, interrupted ones. Because a lot of times we think that we got to be studying for 5 hours. But is it truly 5 hours, or is it 5 hours with you talking to your friend, or you doing something else, you checking notifications, you scrolling through TikTok? But if you just take 1 hour of uninterrupted time, you'll be able to see more than likely how much productive you are, as opposed to you being distracted by all of those things around you. So you want to make sure that your sessions are without distractions to be more effective. And number 6, do not sacrifice sleep. I repeat, do not sacrifice sleep. Study shows that memory consolidation happens during sleep. So that's where your brain locks in. Okay, so we're locking in when we study, but our brain locks in when we sleep. So aim for 7 to 9 hours to perform better on tests. And something that I like to do is at least an hour, 30 minutes before sleep time, I'm giving my eyes a break. I'm not looking at the screen. You may read a book. You may want to read a book, just stare at a wall or something, just to allow your mind to be at ease instead of the last thing that your mind, remembers before going to sleep is you watching a funny TikTok. And now, it's harder for you to go to sleep. So allow yourself at least an hour or 30 minutes of undistracted time. Allow your mind to not be focused on TikTok or any reels or anything. Read a book. You may want to review some notes before you go to sleep. At least so you're giving your eye a break and allowing your brain to lock in. So keep a consistent sleep schedule even during breaks. Avoid all night study sessions. They reduce retention. If you don't know it, then you will not know it, and cramming is not going to help you to know it. Use short naps, 20 minutes if needed, but not as a substitute for nighttime sleep. Rested students study more efficiently and retain more material heading into finals. So listen, these are just some 6 tips. 6 tips. That's it. Simple tips to help you to complete and to do well on final exams. So let's go through them again. Make a simple week plan. Follow the 2-hour rule. Finish or start high value assignments early. Review class material in small spaced sessions. Limit digital distractions during study blocks. And of course, don't sacrifice sleep. So by using just a small part of your Thanksgiving break for structured review and project planning, students like you can ease the workload of finals week because it is coming. The clock is ticking. It can help you to also reduce stress and improve overall performance, because that's what it's all about, right? Being our best self. So a few smart habits now, and even though they may be small, but those habits right now can make a significant impact by the time you look at your report card at the end of the semester. So I hope that this short but powerful and potent session of the College Buzz will help you to make the most of your Thanksgiving break to be ready to crush finals in a good way. Crush it, not bomb it. So we're crushing tests, not bombing tests this finals of the semester. So I hope that you enjoyed this episode of the College Buzz. Of course, all of our episodes are on KWTX News 10 on YouTube. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe. And until next time, be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Until next time, be sure, I gotta repeat it because we're not doing that, so I gotta remind you to be sure to like, share, and subscribe. But seriously, until next time, enjoy your Thanksgiving break with family and friends, and be productive so that you can be successful this semester.